I got one idea that I'm especially psyched out of my mind about. You know, it's one of those ideas where you're just like, yes!
Dave? Dave Flynn?
On the radio!
Hold on to your butts.
Hey there, welcome to Dave Flynn on the Radio, the #1 blogcast on the internet. I'm Dave Flynn, and since reading is oh so hard, I'm going to do it for you. Today we're talking about the great ideas, the enduring creations, the gifts that actually land, and the fact is most of them come from a somewhat selfish but highly productive perspective called scratching your own itch. Maybe you've heard of it. This episode will help you start building for yourself. And in turn, you'll make things that last, whether it's a product, a story, or a Christmas gift. We'll draw on insights from creators like Ben Thompson, Kevin Rose, Yvon Chouinard, and even the legendary Billy Mack, the washed-up rocker from Love Actually, who proves that the best work comes from solving your own problem first. You can find more stories and essays like this at winwithflynn.com. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's jump into the show. Solid gold shit and other things worth unwrapping. I buy almost every gift twice. One for them, one for me. If I wouldn't get excited to rip off the wrapping paper on Christmas morning, why would they? The alternative is chasing trends, Beanie Babies, Nintendo Switches, purely because of popularity, scarcity, and hype. Every time I give that kind of gift, it fails to land. Like so many kids on Christmas morning, they open the toy that nearly started a mall riot, cast it aside, and play with the box. That single weird habit, one for them, one for me, works in a number of ways. You have to be your own first and best customer, reader, or fan. Everything else is just guesswork. And in a world where AI can mass produce competent sameness, scratching your own itch isn't quaint anymore. It's the only way to make something distinct. Cy Sperling ended each of his national commercial spots with a single line. I'm not only the hair club president, but I'm also a client. Cy was onto something. One for them, one for me. Amazon? They didn't invent AWS at a McKinsey offsite. No focus group could tell them where the puck was headed. The idea came from the frustration and chaos of scaling their own website. They built services so they wouldn't have to cobble together servers and storage and databases with each holiday sales spike. Once those tools served them internally, they decided to rent them to the world, and the cloud era began. Ben Thompson has the ear of everyone in Silicon Valley, but his website, Stratechery, is a reflection of his interests and his opinions. He'll tell you to define a target audience and find your niche, but his behavior tells a slightly different story. He admits that he's the #1 user of Stratechery's search function, a tool he built primarily to navigate his decade of thinking. He describes the website as an ongoing journal of my attempts to understand the world. And when he'd built enough leverage with his audience of tech executives and VCs, what did he add to the bundle? A basketball podcast. Not because the market demanded it, but because Ben Thompson wanted to talk hoops, and the Bucks in particular. The target market was the scaffold. The writing for himself was always the foundation. You can't trust a skinny chef, a founder with no issues, or a writer who's never changed their mind. The best solutions need to survive the crucible of their creator before they can serve the public. Solid gold shit. We can learn a lot from Billy Mack, the washed-up rocker from Love Actually who takes a sappy old love song, slaps a few sleigh bells on it, and records the most cynical Christmas single imaginable.
Christmas, come on, let it snow.
Come on and let it
This is shit, isn't it?
Yep, solid gold shit, maestro.
It hits number 1 anyways. When the confetti falls, he skips the celebrity parties and goes straight to the one person who shot him straight, his manager, Joe. Billy Mack got the hit, but he didn't get the relief he was after. Solid gold shit is anything you create that you don't actually want. A pot boiler. It might pay the bills, but it won't scratch the itch. You'll be searching those cupboards for calamine lotion. Creators who last optimize for relief, not applause. I want it for myself. The creators who endure are resolving a personal tension. Relief means solving a problem or satisfying an obsession you feel frequently, intensely, and personally. European climbers conquered the mountains. Their iron pitons were hammered in and left behind. Try to remove them and the heads would snap right off. American climbers like Yvon Chouinard were raised on Emerson, Thoreau, and Muir. You visit the wilderness, but you leave no trace. So, in 1957, Chouinard bought a coal-fired forge, a 138-pound anvil, and some tongs from a junkyard and taught himself blacksmithing. He forged chrome moly pitons that could be driven in and removed from Yosemite's cracks over and over again. As he put it, I made these pitons for myself and a few friends I climbed with. Then friends of friends wanted some. Patagonia was born from his desire for clean climbing, a mission that would eventually end that piton business altogether. Right now, Kevin Rose is training a dozen AI models to argue over the most culturally important albums of all time. Then he's taking the winners and turning them into guided audio tours, showing off the riffs that changed history, the drum fills that still echo, spoken in a calm voice while the Spotify track plays in the background. He wants to sit on his couch once a week and finally hear Dark Side of the Moon the way he always wished he could. He summarized the commitment. To pull that off requires having these models duke it out for the best possible results, plus the whole back-end infrastructure. But that's the play at work, right? The product doesn't need to exist, but I want it for myself, he says. So I'm going to build it. That's his entire pitch. The man who invented Christmas. In October 1843, Charles Dickens was broke. His last book had bombed. Creditors were circling, and his wife just announced baby number 5 was on the way. He needed cash, fast. Dickens had worked in a bootblacking factory as a child after his father was sent to debtor's prison, so he knew poverty firsthand. In the years since, his writing had opened doors that child could never have imagined. The Pickwick Papers made him a sensation at 24. Bootleg copies, theatrical adaptations, merchandise. Oliver Twist followed, and Queen Victoria herself stayed up until midnight discussing it. He toured America, dined with the powerful, and enjoyed the finer things. But success also brought clarity. The gap between the haves and the have-nots wasn't an abstraction anymore. He could see it from both sides. So, when a parliamentary report on child labor crossed his desk in 1843, he set out to write a political pamphlet. Quote, an appeal to the people of England on behalf of the poor man's child, unquote. That's what serious writers did about serious issues. Within a week, he abandoned it. Oliver Twist had shown him that a story could do what a pamphlet never could. When Oliver asked for more gruel, readers who'd never set foot in a workhouse suddenly felt what it meant to be hungry, punished, invisible. Letters poured in. Newspapers took up the cause. Fiction put a face on the suffering, and faces move people to action. A ghost story, he decided, would land with 20,000 times the force. So he wrote one.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and the destitute. Many thousands are in want of common comfort, sir. Are there no prisons? Prisons? Yes, plenty of prisons. And the union workhouses, are they still in operation? They are. I wish I could say they were not. The treadmill in full vigor? Very busy, sir. Good. I was afraid something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
Despite being nearly bankrupt, Dickens personally financed the printing, illustrations, and binding because he wanted the book to be beautiful and accessible. A Christmas Carol was an immediate success, but the production cost meant he earned far less than he needed. He scratched two itches at once, survival and conscience. The money came, eventually, but the lasting success, the fact that this book literally reinvented how the world celebrates Christmas, came from the depth of the problem he chose to solve, not the size of the market he chased. Build because of a compulsion, an itch, and it will shine through to everyone. Sometimes it will keep shining nearly 2 centuries later. The AI challenge. Today, the question is urgent. What do you create when the machines can instantly generate everything? If you ask an AI to write an essay on any subject, it will pull from the world's knowledge. The result will be logical, free from defects, but it will also be a little bit vanilla, undifferentiated. Competent prose in service of a familiar idea. It's the new art factory, content created at scale, optimized for metrics, devoid of any originating itch. AI slop is what they call it. And it's not good, it's not bad, it's actually worse. It's nothing at all. The old advice was scratch your own itch. Well, what's old is new. The new reality is that scratching your own itch is the only way to make something that matters. Everything else is now commodity. But here's what's changed. AI doesn't just threaten the average, it can actually supercharge the specific. The same tools that generate slop can scale something that's deeply personal. You can finally build that weird, bespoke thing that you want, and build it fast enough to find out if anybody else wants it too. And that's what Kevin Rose is doing. He's using AI as a multiplier for his obsession, not a replacement for all the world's curiosity. The album guides that don't need to exist, but he wants them. So, hey, he's building them. I'm following that lead. This website, it started in my journal, just to clear out the cobwebs. Some entries turn into essays, and one thing leads to another. The blog, the book, lots of awkward Christmas party conversations, and you get the idea. But I write about what obsesses me, at least in that moment, in hopes that it infects a few others, and the world gets slightly more interesting. As much as I want growth, I also need to protect my very best customer, the one I'm shaving. Your only assignment. Stop asking what should I build and start asking what do I wish existed. Then build the smallest, ugliest version and use it until it's embarrassing how much you use it. Then show it to a few friends, absorb those appraising looks, and just keep on making stuff. If you're willing to pay for the solution with time, treasure, or talents, that's the only validation that's ever mattered. The world has oceans of solid gold shit. It needs more backyard blacksmiths, more ghost stories. If you wouldn't rip the paper off yourself, don't be surprised when the world leaves it in the box. Scratch your own itch, and the work comes alive. Something worth tearing into on Christmas morning. There we have it. That's the pod. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. Give it a thumbs up. And if you've got a few extra seconds, give it a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you are listening. The engagement will make you feel so good, and it'll help other people find the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
All right, there you go, America. I love you. I'm proud of you. I mean it. We gotta go. This is great.